put the team at Centralina Realty to work for you. We're in the center of North Carolina and at the center of your journey. CentralinaRealty.com.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Well, good afternoon, Lake Norman, and welcome to Town Talk. We're coming to you live from WSIC, the Real Talk Studio, nestled on the banks of beautiful Lake Norman, streaming worldwide from Naperville, Illinois to St. Petersburg, Florida. Population 262,300 people and change. I'm Bill Russell, your host, President of Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce, the largest chamber of commerce in the Charlotte region. My guest today is Greg and Katy Law. They're the owners of Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture. So, Katy, Naperville, Illinois. And I don't know if you know this, Melissa Easley, who is our school board representative for District 1, she is from Naperville, Illinois.
No
Did you know that?
way. Wow. I did not know that. I was just like, what? We're streaming in Naperville?
Okay, some trivia today. In 2025, Naperville, Illinois was named America's Best City to Live by Niche, highlighting its exceptional quality of life, top-rated schools, robust economy, and overall affordability. When did you leave Naperville?
When?
Yeah.
1997, I left Naperville when I went to college to Florida State because I wanted to go somewhere warm. Those things are true, except it's really cold there.
Are your folks still there?
Half the year, yes.
Okay, so
yes.
Okay, half the year. Are they in
go
Florida?
To Florida the other half.
Okay.
They're smart.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, and are you Catholic?
I used to be.
Okay.
So, but everybody in Naperville is Catholic.
Okay, so how does it feel to know that the Pope is from Chicago, Illinois?
This is a big topic of conversation on our family thread right now. Lots and lots of memes coming through about the Pope being from Chicago. Is he a Sox fan? Is he a Cubs fan?
Oh, he's a Sox fan. Yeah,
kind of up for debate a little bit.
Yeah, he's a Sox fan.
Yeah.
I was reading that he is a lifelong Chicago White Sox fan, and actually they have a picture of him at the former World Series.
So his mom was actually a librarian at my uncle's school.
No.
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Well, so the Cubs have the Holy Cow, and the White Sox have the Holy Pope.
So you two met at Florida State, and I was reading this thing. You got married in September, moved to North Carolina in October, opened Sweet Dreams along with Greg's parents in November of 2002.
Yeah.
You had a dream team of 4 with your parents. Now you have 35 members on the dream team. But my question, I read that you were in college. You were working in a mattress store. Were your parents in the mattress or furniture business?
No. Looking back on that, how fast that all unrolled in 2002. Katy always talks about how that would totally stress her out today.
How did you convince them to jump into that?
Excited. I managed a mattress store to pay my way through college.
Huh?
It was a job that got passed down in his fraternity.
Yeah.
He was the first person to take it seriously.
What fraternity?
Okay.
You're a Kappa Alpha.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. We came really close. We started the fraternity system at Winthrop, and I'm a Pi Kappa Phi. But we kept getting close to the magic number of 20, which you had to have back there. Now I think it's 25. But getting close, and then we'd fall back down with people. Finally, our national office was saying, you got to do this or we're going to cut you loose. And we were going like, you want to start KA? we'll just do KA, but we stay with Pi Kappa Phi. But great fraternity.
Yeah, we loved it.
Florida State. But how did you get your parents to jump into the furniture business then?
It was a conversation we had. So before I stumbled into the mattress store, I was in the restaurant business and the bar business, and I loved service and hospitality and creating regulars and raving fans and getting everybody coming back. And then I started in the mattress store. I was like, man, I love this, because people were coming in with a certain level of expectation of poor service because that's what they were used to seeing. And then we would just blow them away with treating them right, giving them more than what they expected. And I loved it because it's not like I was knocking on doors trying to sell something that somebody didn't need. This is something that really makes a big impact on people. So they were coming to us because they had a real need. And I said, Mom and Dad, we could do this way better. If you ever want to look into a family business, this family that I worked for had 30 stores around Florida.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I only saw them once a year. It felt like I was running my own business through college. So I was like, if you ever want to do a family business, this would be really great.
So was it a harder sell getting your parents involved or Katie involved?
You know,
Oh,
I don't think either one of us were a hard sell. I never knew what I wanted to do growing up. Not even all through college, I knew what I wanted to do. But, Greg is definitely a true entrepreneur. He had a passion for it. And I just kind of like doing whatever Greg does. So I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do it.
Now, he was in a fraternity. He's KA. Were you a sorority?
I was Katy, Kappa Delta.
Kappa Delta?
I was
Okay.
Katy the Katy from Chicago.
Okay, well, I'm a Greek too. So again, I going to college. My first year, there wasn't any fraternities on campus. We started ours, and the first year, I basically went to class and then went to a job, and so
Yeah.
I had no on-campus activity whatsoever. And now I can't think back of how that would have been had I
Yeah.
not been involved in Greek life because
Oh, yeah.
yeah, ultra and to this day, you know, I have a lot of friends that are we're in the fraternity. We call each up. We go to the ball games.
Yep.
You probably still go to Florida State games with your fraternity and sorority.
You know what I think is smart that schools do now? I know a lot of the big schools do is to get like football tickets, you have to do like a certain number of like service hours or points. Like you get points for going to a different sporting event game or points for going to like welcome the new freshman in or like just points for getting involved in the school somewhere.
Mhm.
And then those points go towards
that makes
football
sense.
tickets.
That's a great idea.
I know they do that at University of South Carolina.
Mhm.
My son's girlfriend goes there. She's telling us like they do it at Tennessee, but a few other places. But I'm like, that is smart because that's a way to get kids involved in the school. Because it's hard without being in Greek life, it's kind of hard to get plugged in. It's so big, you don't really know where to start.
Mhm. That's
So
right.
I think it's cool.
Quick story on that. I got to
Go ahead.
when I was a pledge, it was our job to camp out overnight for what was at the time the game of the century, Florida State versus Florida Gators. And we stayed up all night. We had to like hold our spot in line. We were responsible for getting our block and the sorority's block of tickets. And we fell asleep and then slept through the line. So we lost our spot in line
Oh,
and we didn't get tickets. So we got in huge trouble.
that's bad.
All right,
I'm surprised
back-
you guys
I hadn't
made
thought
it
about that in a
through.
while.
Back to Sweet Dreams.
Okay.
Okay, you've got 4 locations. Talk about your locations, and the bigger question is, what made you come to Lake Norman? Why did you decide Mooresville, Cornelius? What was the decision behind it? So where are your locations and why?
Yep. So being in Tallahassee, we were expecting probably Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, where I went to high school, and I always loved Florida. But my sister and her family had moved here a year or two before we did,
Mhm.
and she kept sending us brochures of Lake Norman. And she's like, "This place is great. You gotta come see this place." So we came up. Our favorite supplier at the time has a factory on Harris Boulevard.
Oh, okay.
So Simmons Beauty Rest. And so we flew up, my dad and I flew up, met with them, all the doors open. We just fell in love with this place.
Mhm.
And then Katie and I came up and visited Memorial Day weekend, got out on Lake Norman, and we found the perfect spot. We're like, oh, we're all in.
Yeah.
When we come back, I want to hear about the specific spots, and then I've got some questions that was AI generated.
Oh.
So and stay with us on Town Talk. We're going to be back right after these announcements. Stay with us.
More Town Talk with Lake Norman Chamber President Bill Russell is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
All right, as we talked about, we never go to a commercial because I'm one of those. If I had just this little thing that came up, we'll be right back for 3 minutes, I'd be gone.
Me too.
I'm not going to sit there and watch this static ad. I'm just not going to do that. So we use this extra 3 minutes to talk about Chamber of Commerce events, and of course, this is on Facebook. It's on X, which is Twitter. We're on all the different kind of podcasts, LinkedIn, YouTube. Social media. What social media does Sweet Dreams use? Katie, are you the marketing girl? Are you behind the marketing? Are you behind the marketing? Who does the marketing?
We there's a team of us that do the
Oh, okay.
marketing, but we do Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube.
You got to do all of the above.
All of them. We're in it all, and we like to feed the beast, as we say. You gotta make lots Lots of posts.
And y'all were like doing commercials together, weren't you? Didn't I see that sometime?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We like to make a fool out of ourselves on camera is what we like to do. But
We
we
love
do
getting
it
the
for
whole team involved,
Yeah,
too.
we do it for as much as our own entertainment as anybody else's. But we have a really fun team that we work with. So, yeah, we like to get them involved.
And one of them we talked about, he was going to try to be here, Matt Man,
Yeah.
Andrew. He's in Kiwanis with me. Where did the concept come from with Matt Man?
Oh,
Oh, there's a whole. It's
there's
where
an origin story.
he came into being.
Yeah.
So we always. I'll tell you how he gets started with
Now,
it. but
describe, for people who have no idea what I'm talking about, describe what Matt Man is.
Matt Man is our resident sleep superhero.
Yeah.
He fights the things that keep you up at night.
Yeah. So a message that we really try to get across to our team to convey to every customer is that, sleep is the foundation for our general wellness. It's more important than diet and exercise combined. So, but when you talk to people about the importance of sleep, they fall asleep. So he's the ambassador of our game plan for better sleep. He delivers it in a fun way that nobody's ever seen before. And it also, he represents us in the community. He's run over 200 miles in charity 5K races.
Yeah.
And he's got a mattress, two sides of a mattress around him, right? So
Yeah. I
describe
mean, he has a
the
whole
look.
uniform.
So for years, like we would run like Christian Mission charity races. It looks like a big piece of tow, like a mattress cut out. Over the years, he's gotten slimmer, so it's a little bit more svelte.
It's gotten better sleep.
It added a cape to it too.
All right. Well, we're going back live in about 10 seconds. So thank you for staying with us. And we talked about a lot of chamber events, didn't we? But we'll get to them. All right. Stay with us on Town Talk.
Continues now. Here's your host, Lake Norman Chamber President Bill Russell on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back to Town Talk. I got Greg and Katy Law from Sweet Dreams Mattress. And before we went to a break, we were talking about why you selected Lake Norman. Share about where your locations are.
Well, in 2002, we started, our very first store was on Brawley School Road, where the public shopping center is now, right next to El Cerro Reyes Mexican restaurant.
In Mooresville.
Yeah, in Mooresville. So we've got lots of great memories there, but that store has moved over to in front of Sam's Club in Mooresville. And we've got an East Mooresville store on the railroad tracks in 150 and 115. Right down the road here at Cornelius, right at exit 28, where the motorcycle shop used to be. We've actually been there about 12 years
Right.
already.
That was
yesterday.
Interstate, right? Wasn't it Interstate?
Yeah. Seems like yesterday.
Yeah. And that's one of my
And then
fraternity brothers, too. That has
Store in
Oh,
Denver.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, at Interstate?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He was a pie cap. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great, cool business. We still have people stumbling in like, where are the jet skis?
Yeah.
Or the motorcycle.
Oh, there's motorcycles.
Are your parents still involved in business?
My dad is. We lost my mom 2.5 years
I'm
ago.
sorry,
Yeah, but we're just so grateful for the time we've gotten to spend. We wouldn't have gotten to spend near as much time with them as we have, and we've loved every step of the way. Katy and I both have great supportive parents that we're very, very thankful for what they've done to give us this opportunity. That's also what really drives us is we feel like they believed in us before we had earned it. And we just want to be able to pay that forward to our staff and others.
Okay. Your parents were very involved. How does being a family-owned, not just a husband and wife, but a family-owned business, how has that shaped your business?
Oh, I think now more than ever, this generation really values authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've always been true to that is just this is who we are. And let's just be the best version of ourselves every step of the way. But it's also why people love to shop with us is, when you ask anybody, most people would say, I prefer to shop local. So we always tell our staff that it's not good enough for us to just say we're local or family owned. We have to prove it. So why would somebody rather shop with us? It's because we care more about the person that we're sitting in front of.
Yeah.
So how do we train that? How do we teach empathy? And it started with the family. And then if you're not part of our family, you're adopted family. And we recruit based on our core values. So that's what we had learned. We used to assume that just because we were family owned and we believe in better service, that our team would adopt those values. We did realize that we had to define what those values were. And once we did that, it really helped us be able to get our whole team involved in representing the family values properly to our customers in the
Sure.
community.
The first questions that people ask when they come in your store, outside of the fact they may say, "Where are the jet skis?" but what's some of the first questions that people would ask, and how has it changed over the years?
Sure.
I
Go
think
ahead.
of usually the first question or statement people say when they walk in the stores. They walk in and they say, "Wow, we didn't realize you had so much furniture in here." They were like, "Oh, well, it does say furniture.
It is
out
a
on
big
the
place,
sign."
yeah.
But yeah, so that's been really fun. Is just seeing our business evolve over the years, really with like the demand of our community, and we've built that category up a lot over the past 10 years, I would say. And I think it's something that people are really pleasantly surprised about when they walk through our store, through the doors, is to see that we have this like beautiful display of a lot of different
Yeah,
furniture styles. And, it's something a little bit more exciting than a typical mattress
Yeah.
store that you just walk in and there's just white rectangles everywhere with no headboards and it's kind of blah. It's very homey feel.
You guys have been doing a chamber of business after hours for quite a while, a number of years. And I think one of the first times that I came in the store, once you decided to have these things, I walked in and I'm looking at the beds and I'm going like, where the hell are the box springs?
Yeah.
So one of the trends or one of the things I've noticed about your industry is there usually is no more box springs. I
Nope.
mean, it's all one piece. So what are some of the things that are different from when you started in the industry? You were in Florida State, you're selling beds, which I'm assuming were box springs and mattresses. What have been the most innovative changes that you've seen in your industry?
Talk about an item that nobody ever gets excited about is a box spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hardly anybody wants those anymore or gets them anymore. Most people go with what we nicknamed the game changer. It's an adjustable base, and we've got customer testimonials where it's just life changing for a lot of people. You raise your feet, take tension off your back, improve your circulation. You breathe easier when you raise up. It helps a lot of people get hope that they can get better rest by customizing their positions. That's a big thing. That's taken an average ordinary mattress and made it 10 times better for people. And then what else has really changed is the disruptors in our industry. About 10 years ago, that's when bed in a box became really famous on the internet. Consumers were getting kind of fed up with boredom or average service or like lack of clarity, frustrating in-store shopping experience. And these online brands really offered like one choice or like a clear, quick choice online. And we've seen that shift to where those brands are now wanting to partner with brick and mortar stores like us. So consumers read a lot about that online. They come in pre-sold on the product. They want to try it in person. And that's been huge for our industry and for our business too, is bringing the brands that people want, they know about online, but giving them a chance to be able to test it in the store, pick the right one, get our help and guidance. And that's been a great part of the industry.
And you touched on a question I was going to ask. Now there's an online presence that, we didn't really see a few years ago. So I mean, somebody can go on Amazon and order a whole host of stuff. Are you seeing that online sales are cutting into your market, or you just talked about how you're now partnering with some of those?
Well, since the very beginning, we've always been really aggressive about being having e-commerce and an online store that helps people be able to shop seamlessly between our store and online. We used to try to ship nationwide, and we did a lot of that. Then we realized that there's so many shipping companies that would just drop kick it across the back of the truck and damage it. And we went through all the most reputable and just could not provide that level of service that we want our name on. And then we realized that there's so much growth and people right here that need our service. So just being hyper local is fantastic for that. But less than 2% of people that go to the major brands that sell online buy from them because they want to go touch and feel it and try it for themselves.
Yeah.
So it's a great partnership there where a lot of our value, we pick the brands that most people want and that are reviewed the best. And then people come in with a good expectation, and then we just kind of help them make it easy. And that's what they're looking for. They want an easy, clear shopping experience, and we love giving that to them.
You talk about game changers. I have an older bed with the older mattresses. It's flat, but I have somebody else that has a king bed that has the adjustable mattresses, and they can keep theirs flat, and I can raise mine up. I'm going like, oh, this is pretty cool. Plus, I think it probably eases the snoring. But I mean, having the adjustable bed where you can raise your feet or raise your head. You sell a lot of those.
Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
one of our number one products.
Yeah. More people get those anymore than box springs. Like you said, people don't want box springs.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
boring. Like,
Yeah, it's better support, and you get to raise it up whenever you want. But there's so many people that have a misconception of that. We're like, here, let me just show you how to use it and have you feel this for yourself. And they're like, oh my gosh.
yeah.
And
Not just for old people anymore.
I love it when people are trying to, and they start, you can even see them blinking slowly, and they start to get hope that they can feel better through better rest. And that's a fun part of it.
Well, this is Small Business Week. Actually, last week, the United States Small Business Administration celebrated Small Week, but we're celebrating it this week because we had a lot of activities going on at the Chamber of Commerce. And one of the first things that we had on Monday was a professional development seminar on AI. And this guy came in and he talked about the various AI platforms, whether you're using Claude or Grok or ChatGPT. And I got to be honest, I haven't used AI. I mean, I had downloaded it, ChatGPT, but outside of it, asking it a couple of questions that you would ask Google, I didn't do anything. So I have today because now I know how to use ChatGPT.
It's going to make your life so much easier.
Oh,
right.
gosh.
It's going to be your new best friend.
So
Yeah.
I asked, what are questions for a small business owner? Because you're not just a mattress store. You're a small business couple. So I have questions for a small business owner and questions for a couple who own a small business. So I'm going to ask questions for an individual small business owner. So this could be applicable to anybody operating, whether it's a retail store or a service store. I think you've already answered this one. What inspired you to start your business, and how did you identify the need it addresses? I think you really touched on that earlier.
Yeah, I think in order to start a new business, you need to ask that question, like, where's the void? Like, what is missing in this market? And how do we become the best solution for that? In Tallahassee at the time, there was 63 stores that sold mattresses.
Wow.
That was in 2001, 2002. And it felt like everybody was doing well in business, but it was such a terrible customer experience. The service level was so terrible. And that's what we set out to do. We wanted to put service and hospitality and treat people right and give a unreasonable hospitality level of service. And we feel like we've done that very well. But that would be my top advice. Is like, okay, what in your industry can you be the solution for and the best solution for it?
And this is a pretty general question here that I didn't take. It didn't take AI to come at this. But what has been your most significant challenge as a small business owner, and how did y'all overcome that?
Overcoming all of our IT challenges. In the beginning.
That was a significant challenge, but I would say really building your team is a big challenge for almost every business owner. And in about 2014 is where we really made a shift that, Greg can speak to very well. It's about his favorite thing to talk about. So,
yeah, and retention. Have you kept a lot of them on board?
We have, and that's probably the greatest joy of our business, other than working with each other and our family, is our team and how much we love them.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go to a break. Thank you for staying with us on Town Talk. We got Greg and Katy Law with Sweet Dreams Mattress. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
There's more Town Talk with Lake Norman Chamber President Bill Russell on the way from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
As Bill alluded to earlier, I'm a product of the 70s. I'm not really sure there was any really good music in the 80s, 90s, or 2000s. I'm still, the Elton John, Beatles, Fleetwood Mac,
Still
Chicago.
the same songs.
So our 16-year-old daughter, she's like all into Fleetwood Mac right now.
Oh, really?
I'm like, this is amazing.
You know what
You're
was
smart.
funny? When I was in college, my brother, who was 7 years younger than me, he took my Beatles records, and I had a whole bunch of Beatles albums, and he was listening to Beatles. He was like, "This is great," and I'm going like, "Really?" So I mean, it kind of a renaissance with Todd. So that was pretty cool. Okay, I mentioned we are celebrating Small Business Week, and so we started off Monday, just as I alluded to. We had AI seminar at the Chamber of Commerce. It talked about various platforms, very well attended. And again, I learned a lot, learned how to come up with some questions. Tuesday, we had our WINS program, which is Women, Influence, and Networking and Sharing, H2 Public. Katie, have you been to any of our WINS programs?
You know, we have a standing managers meeting
On Tuesdays.
Tuesday mornings at 8:30, so I'm never able to go to those, unfortunately.
Well, and then we had yesterday afternoon, we had a ribbon cutting for the Ninja Challenge at Everett Gymnastics. And I was sharing this morning how, they had this ninja apparatus set up. And I was sailing through one thing after the other, grabbing onto the hoops. I was in my suit. All the little gymnasts looking at me go like, wow, he's just awesome. And, of course, that really didn't take place. But in my mind, it did.
Yeah.
No, I probably would have. I think I was going to pull something just watching them.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And again, this Ninja Challenge is set up exactly like you would see one of the little things on TV. They were.
That's cool.
Yeah, these
Where
gymnasts.
was that?
It's at Everett Gymnastics, which is the old hang loose of the late Michael Waltrip Racing.
Cool.
Everett Gymnastics, and that's where they train these gymnasts, male and female.
Yeah.
And they've now set up this massive ninja thing in the middle of the Everett Gymnastics, and it's really cool.
That is super cool. We went to one of those in Atlanta with your younger brother.
Fun.
They're great.
Really neat. Tonight at 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, we'll be right back here at WSIC. We're having the Small Business Event of the Year. Joe Vagnoni and I, and along with Mamie Lee, hosting it. We've got a message from U.S. Senator Tom Tillis. We've got Mike Hook, who was our Business Person of the Year. He is going to be one of our guests. We've got, this is being presented by Novant Health, Huntersville Medical Center. So Mike Riley, who is the president of the hospital, he's going to be here talking about healthcare challenges. Steve Gilliland, Mike Michaelwitz, and Gary Laney, two bestseller authors, are going to be sharing some of their insight. So we got that going on. Tomorrow is our women's conference. It's going to be at the Peninsula Club. We typically have 120 women. Have you been to a women's conference?
Yes, they're
Okay.
amazing.
Are you scheduled tomorrow to be at it?
No, it's sold out.
It has been
I
sold.
couldn't get a ticket. I was too late.
They had set a goal for 150 people, which they normally have 120. We went past 150, so we brought in another table. They went past 160, 170. At 180, Peninsula Club said, I'm sorry, that's all you can have. We can't fit anybody. And for 3 weeks, we've been sold out. And you can't believe the number of people have called and said, can't you get me in? And
I know. And like, as much as I was bummed, it made my heart so happy to know that, like, what an amazing amount of women in our community who are really excited about, advancing their professionalism and just celebrating business women.
This is going to be women who have overcome physical issues, business issues to succeed. One of them had a pretty debilitating illness that overcame it, and then went out and participated in the Ironman competition.
Oh my gosh!
Which, in my best day, I could have never done something like that.
That's so impressive.
So Friday, we're having our Focus Friday at the Chamber of Commerce, 8:30 to 9:30. Our fire chiefs are going to be there talking about our various fire departments. That's going to be 8:30 to 9:30. If you can't be there and you want to join virtually, call us up. We'll send you a link. And then at 3 o'clock to 4:30, we're going to have the Small Businesses of the Year from Cornelius, Davidson, Huntersville, Mooresville. So we recognize a business in each of those towns. And then Friday night, Feathered Roots is going to be at Bin 110, which normally we don't pick out a particular place. But Christina Eagle, who had been on The Voice, have y'all ever watched The Voice?
Yes.
Christina Eagle, right here from Catawba. She lives in Lake Norman. She was my guest about a month ago. She was one of the participants on The Voice and got all the way to, I think, the semifinals. So that's taking place. All right, Reese, I think we're going back live in about 15 seconds. So thank you for staying with us on Town Talk.
Radio.
Number one for talk in Lake Norman, Statesville.
1059, 100.7 WSIC. Lake Norman Chamber President Bill Russell is on WSIC with Town Talk. Join in the conversation by calling 844-STUDIO-4. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back to Town Talk. I got Greg and Katy Losh. They're the owners of Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture right here in Cornelius and several other locations in Morrisville, here, where else?
Denver.
Denver, and then a warehouse in Mooresville, right?
That's right.
Okay. Okay, we were doing questions. So we just talked about overcoming challenges. What makes Sweet Dreams different from the other mattress competitors? Because there are several here in Cornelius and in Mooresville. So what makes you guys stand out from your competition?
We absolutely love it when people ask us that, and we
This is Greg's favorite question.
yeah, I go over it with our team all the time because the answer really needs to be like, what truly can we say about ourselves that's really different and unique? And it's our core values. I want our team to always talk about
Yeah,
our core values.
yeah.
There's nobody else that has our exact combination of core values, and we actually defined that in 2014, like Katy started to mention. DREAMS is our acronym: dedicated to God and the greater good, responsibility, energy, effort, and excellence. All about the team, measure growth in partnerships, and service above self. So that is really at the core of everything we do, from the people that we pick and recruit to be on our team to every product that we carry. All revolve around those core values, which means to the customer or the person that we're trying to serve is we genuinely want to help you with your problem. We want to be here. Like, everybody on our team has a heart to serve, and you feel that when you come into our stores. You feel it when you see our marketing, and then you can really trust that every product that we carry, we genuinely believe is the best in every category and the price. And then we make that all easy.
And I love that faith plays a part in your mission, because I got to tell you, I never shared this with you. The reason I do what I do is my father. He was so active, and I know I've seen what you've done on your biographies, that so many organizations that you're involved in. And Dad was gone practically every night to some meeting, whether it was JC's or Kiwanis or Little League Baseball or United Way, and all these all these organizations. And I asked him one time, why do you do all that? And he said, there's a Bible verse in Matthew. It says, let your light so shine to show your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. And Dad said, we all have unique talents that God bestowed on us. Mm-hmm. And that's our gift from God. And how we use those talents is our gift back to God. But I love that faith and family play such a role in your business.
Well, I'm going to remember you said that, because I love, that's exactly a different way of saying what we truly believe in. For our team, we always say we have to prove it. And so God has given us this Sweet Dreams to use as a vehicle for greater good work.
Sure.
And I love that. That's our favorite part of our business is, we get to work hard, we play hard, we serve others, and we grow. And that's kind of the recipe for enjoying it. And as long as we're using it for that significance, that's going to be the key.
Can you talk about a pivotal moment that really changed the direction or really set the direction of your business?
Yeah. Greg, well, there's two, but you
go ahead.
What were you thinking?
Well, I mean, speaking of, faith being a big part of our business, when we first started, it was in 2002, and we were young. We were 23 and 24 years old. At that time, you don't even realize that failure is a possibility, right? You're just so excited.
You're let's do it.
We had so much passion and energy, and just our whole future ahead of us. But we lacked some wisdom at that time. But 2003, things were a little bit rocky. So we thought we would open up this store. People would just run in and want to buy things. Mm-hmm. Well, that was not the case. So it was probably about 6 months went by, and we were not at the place that we thought we were going to be at when we opened. And, we considered maybe having to close. And Greg's mom is really faithful person. And she would get down on her knees and pray. This is hard for me to say without crying, so
right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I'll pick up from here.
You pick up.
Yeah. So we would join her in praying quite a bit. And one thing that we did right from the very beginning is get involved in the community, sponsor Little League teams, get out in the chamber, meet people. It's all about relationships. So the very day that my mom said that my brother's church put us on their prayer list, the same day that they started praying for us, this couple that we had met from around town came in and bought $8,000 worth of furniture and mattresses.
Oh, wow.
And our biggest ticket before that was $2,500, around there. And I was like, man, I can't believe it, because this could not have come at a more crucial time.
Yeah, pivotal. Yeah.
Bills were due. It was, and so as I'm writing the receipt, I'm like, man, this is great. And I look up, and I hadn't noticed it until that moment, but the lady's shirt said "Jesus is Lord" across the front of it. I was like, no, that's not an answered prayer. I don't know what is, because the next day was busy, and the day after that was busier. And today, when somebody joins our team, I take them to breakfast. I tell them about our company history, and I say, we want you to know that we've grown to the point, like back then, we grew to where we needed our first employee. And then we needed Jimmy and Catherine and Matt Man, who are still with us. And then with each addition to the new person to the dream team, that person has helped us grow to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're number 35. You're here with us, having breakfast with us. We're counting on you. We've grown to the point where we need you to help us get to the next level. We need you to know what you're a part of here. And I think that means a lot with somebody on their first day.
And you said there were two pivotal.
Yep. So we opened 2002. 2014, we joined Nationwide Marketing Group. It's a nationwide group of independent local dealers in our industry that pull together resources, classes, wisdom, deals, know-how. We stopped pretending that we knew everything, and we went and got involved in that industry or in that group, and we learned so much more about the right way to do business. And that's really helped us have everything from going funneled through Katy and me to opening up a team full of leaders and building our dream team that we have today.
And I've got one more question about advice to a small business, and then we'll get back to some specific industry questions. You guys were our business persons of the year, 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago?
It feels like 2 years
4
ago. That
years
was
ago.
2019.
4 years ago?
2020,
Oh
I
my
think.
God. Yeah, it's
Really?
2020. Yeah.
It was 2020?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it doesn't seem that like long ago. Okay. What advice would you offer anyone particularly a young person? Because that's a great analogy. You're 22, 23 years old, starting a business together. So what advice would you give to anyone starting their own small business?
Document all of your processes so
Yes.
that you can duplicate yourself faster.
Okay.
So starting with your core values, like don't assume that your people that you hire know what your values are unless you define it, unless you train on it, have them memorize it. Because that's really the essence of allowing them to make decisions that align with what you believe is important for your business.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to be going.
Get ready to work hard.
Time to roll up your sleeves.
Owning
Roll
a
up your
business
sleeves.
is not for the faint of heart. It is a lot of really hard, but very rewarding work.
Bill's going to tell me we got about a minute left for this segment in just a second. So, but I got to ask this. What role does brand loyalty play? Because I'm a guy that I know brands. I mean, so Serta, Beauty Rest. I mean, those things are in my head. How big a deal is brand loyalty?
Wow, it's kind of a convoluted situation out there with brand loyalty these days because you have a whole new generation of brands now in not only our industry, but I think a lot of them. And the new major brands are a lot of the disruptors in our industry who have done a very great job marketing online. And I'm talking like from young people, Gen Zs, millennials, to baby boomers coming into our store asking for some of these newer name brands, not the legacy brands,
Right.
the newer ones, because they've seen it online and done a lot of research.
There's different seasons.
Yeah.
So legacy brands or even new brands that come and go, and it's our job to kind of curate that.
All right. Well, we're going to go to a break. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk about some of that when we get right back. So thank you for staying with us on Town Talk.
Don't go anywhere. More Town Talk with Lake Norman Chamber President Bill Russell is on the way from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, we're back. During our break, I mentioned we're going to be recognizing on Friday our small businesses of the year, and we recognize you guys. You said 4 years. I still can't believe it's been 4 years.
I know, it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
That was such a fun night.
That was a fun night.
How did you feel when I'm assuming I called you up and said, guess what? How did you feel when you were singled out as the Chamber's Business People of the Year?
It was
We were
really
honored
proud
and
moment.
very excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you also recognize Matt Man as a community service. So
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
actually
we got
got
the Robert Cherry
a
Award.
special mat suit that looked like a tuxedo too.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, we're recognizing on Friday, we're having the small businesses. Like I mentioned, Mike Cook was our 2024 Business Person of the Year, Gavin Cook. And he's a
Great.
phenomenal
He's
story, too.
great.
If you get a chance tonight, he's going to be on. We're going to close with him. So I picked where in the agenda, and I said, can we bring you on last? Because I want you to be the closer. I want you to be the closer. So anyway, but on Friday, we're having our Small Business of the Year. So in Cornelius, the judges, and I don't pick these things. We have judges that do this. Alpha Graphics of Lake Norman, Liz Marlowe and her husband, Mike, going to be recognized in Cornelius as the Small Business of the Year.
They're great.
Great.
In Davidson, and you're going to say, wait a minute, they're in Cornelius. Freedom Boat Club. Freedom Boat Club has the boat club here in Cornelius, but they've recently, well, I say recently, it's been a couple of years, but now they have a location over there beside North Harbor Club, and,
Right.
and they had their business after hours a couple of weeks ago, which I got to tell you, when I was leaving the chamber, it was just starting to rain, and it looked ominous. The clouds were black, and I'm going like, oh no, because I knew everything they invested that night. And then I got over to Davidson, it had blown over, and there was a big crowd. And so
That's great.
yeah, it turned out really nice. Nothing But Cakes in Huntersville going to be recognized, and David Alexander Electric in Mooresville. So yeah, that kind of rounds things out in terms of our small businesses. We got 30 seconds. That bun cake. You like bun cake?
Yeah, I just got some for a graduation party that I went to the other night. Picked some of them up.
Red velvet.
I got red velvet. I got the chocolate chip. They had some sort of lemon blueberry special.
All right, we got about 10 seconds, 15 seconds left. So we got to go back live in just a second. So thanks for staying with us.
President Bill Russell on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Okay, we're back with Greg and Katy Law with Sweet Dreams Mattress, and we were talking about various questions. And about your industry and about mattresses again, because you said there are new ones on the block now, but what's the difference between like memory foam, hybrid, inner spring mattresses? What's the most popular type of mattresses?
Well, we really deal with 3 different technologies
Okay.
in our stores, and we think that it's great for people to try all 3 to figure out what they like. Equally as important, what they don't like. It really helps them feel better about their buying decision when they figure out what they don't like. So Tempur-Pedic is really kind of like a standalone technology. A lot of people think of it as memory foam, but it's really like the premium in the industry, developed by NASA, that foam, very pressure relieving. So Tempur-Pedic's like the best of what science has to offer. Then we have the best of what Mother Nature has to offer with some all-natural products. And then we have the best in the traditional category, which is what you think of like a hybrid model.
Chat GPT, I went online and I looked this up.
Yeah.
This is your math today, which I sucked in math. I don't know how you were in Florida State with math. Did you do good in math?
I did pretty good. Yeah.
I did good. Okay, math. Sleep 8 hours a day times 365 days. That's 2,920 hours that we sleep. So you divide that. That's 121.7 days a year that we're sleeping. So it's an average of 122 days that we're doing nothing but sleeping. Now, the average price of a new car, $33,000 to $40,000, unless you're going with a luxury car, $58,000. And you compare how long are you really in your car? And you're paying $58,000 for that car versus something that you're in 122 days of the year. So if you think about what you should really be investing your money in, it's probably your bed.
Absolutely. We are bed snobs. I really, really like to sleep. I love getting good sleep. I just can't imagine not investing in our bed because it's so important.
Yeah.
Sleep is the foundation of your health. It's more important than diet and exercise combined. So getting good sleep matters a lot, and so does what you sleep on.
Well, let's talk about that. So how much does customer health issues like back pain and snoring and poor sleep quality, how does that influence mattress purchases?
A lot of times people get to a breaking point with something.
Uh-huh.
It's like they woke up one day and they're like, this is the last night that I'm going to sleep with this back pain.
Right.
So that's one of the things we love about what we do is that we are catching people on some sort of transition of something. Maybe they're coming to us because they're about to have surgery and they need a bed to recover in, or they're moving their parents into an assisted living facility or something. Like they're going through some sort of like transition in their life, looking for a real solution. And so we're there to help them through a transition, which is why we tend to really build relationships with our customers, because it's not a quick and easy, let's just like come in and get something off the shelf and then check out and go. It's a process to really help fit people for the right thing. But snoring, back pain, all that plays a lot into why people shop, and also it plays a lot into what we provide with solutions to that, especially with that game changer that helps just about all of those things.
Okay, and I've told you guys this. At some particular point, I've got my bedroom suite in Huntersville. At some particular point, I'm going to be moving it to the farm, which the farm has old furniture. So I'm going to get a new mattress. When I come in, how would I know if I'm somebody that maybe some people like softer beds or somebody like harder beds? How do you know what's going to be the best bed for my back? How do I know that?
Greg?
Well, there's general rules of thumb that we can walk you through, but before we tell anybody anything, they're more interested in how is this guy going to help me with my problem.
Uh-huh.
So like it always starts with listening. So we have certain questions that we can walk people through, but before we get into those, we also just let them know and give them hope that we've got a nice, easy, proven process that we'll walk you through that totally simplifies it, because we've been doing this so long.
Right.
But it really before we get into that, we start with certain questions like, tell me about your sleep. So identifying what's bothering them, what's waking them up, finding out like what they're used to, what they like, what they don't like. And then we can guide them through like where they can feel the differences between those top three technologies.
Do customers generally know how they sleep, whether they sleep on their stomach, their back, their side? Do they generally know?
A lot of people
Yeah.
don't. That's why we love having some fun, especially with couples. We'd be like, hey, show me how you fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, they got to think about it real quick. But then they get into that position where they first fall. Most people know how they try to fall asleep.
Uh-huh.
And that helps us be able to guide them in the right direction for what's going to be the right fit on the pillow. The pillow really affects 100% of your sleep. If you get the perfect mattress but the wrong pillow, you're not going to sleep well. You're going to be wrestling with that thing all night. So we like guiding it so that they can feel what we're telling them as we're telling them, kind of like a tour guide. And that's what really makes it easy for them.
Susan likes the memory foam pillow.
Yeah.
I like the down pillow with feathers. I want to be on something really soft.
Yeah.
And she likes something that conforms with her head. Do you see that playing out in couples?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I grew up with a down pillow. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's never been easier for us to fit people correctly for the right pillow. We've got this program from Bedgear, Pillow ID. We always look at people's shoulders and their height, their sleeping style, and bring them the one that we think is going to align their neck, not too high, not too low. And then we have them try a size up or size down. We make that really easy for them.
Katy, you touched on this earlier about what you sell. How much of your business is mattresses versus furniture, and what all kind of furniture do you really have there?
We're about 60-40 anymore, mattress to furniture. And we focus a lot on, I would say, more sit and sleep display type items, bedroom furniture, living room, sofas, sectionals, things like that. So we have an in-house interior design team that I help head up along with a few members on our team. And we go to all the markets. What Greg likes to say is women be shopping. We like to shop. So why not let us do that for you? We like to go to all the furniture markets and really pick out the best styles that look great in the homes around Lake Norman. The furniture lines that we carry in our store, we've got several different ones, but the one thing we don't do is ugly.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been on a mission for about 5 years now. No, more than 5 years. Gosh, about 8 years now.
Yeah.
To find recliners that wives will allow their husbands to buy because it happens every day. People come into the store and the husband's like, oh, I really want a recliner. And the lady's like, not in my house. We're not going to have one, you know? So I got to find some styles that like please the husband, please the wife. It's comfortable, but it looks good, you know, all sorts of stuff.
I've got like 30 more questions, and I've got like 3 minutes left. So some things real quickly, sort of a lightning round. What trends are you seeing in bed frame materials, like people moving toward wood, metal, upholstered styles? What are you seeing?
People love platform beds, like we talked about. They don't like box springs, so a lot of people like platform beds, and they like upholstered beds because it kind of goes with any different sort of furniture.
How often are people replacing their mattresses? Or maybe the better question is, how often should somebody be replaced? Now, you're probably saying about every week.
Yeah.
But how really, seriously, what is the lifespan of a mattress that you say, you know what, you really need to get a good one, a new one?
Usually about after 8 years is a good time. They say replace every 8 because by that time, your mattress has lost some of its life. Your body has changed a lot. Think about how much your body changes in the course of 10 years, especially as we get older. Like our body kind of changes more and more within 10 years. So the combination of just like the mattress losing a little bit of its life and support, you use it every single night for 8 hours a day, and then your body changing, 8 years is a good rule of thumb.
You know, and I know you have pillows because I've seen them, and you've also given them away at Business After Hours. But mattress protectors, sheets, do y'all sell those as well?
Yeah, we try to bundle that with everybody just to make it easy. So we pair the right sheets and the right pillows for the person and the product, and we give a great value bundle so it's nice and quick and easy for people.
Yep.
Are eco-conscious materials becoming a selling point for your products?
Yeah, we just
Big time.
brought in a new line called Avocado, very popular online mattress brand, and they are 100% organic. And we have people driving from like 2 to 3 hours away all the time to come try these beds because we're one of the only retailers in North Carolina who has them.
They're rated number 1 on Consumer Reports last 7 years, plus all these other. So
Yeah.
that's one of the great powerhouse brands that we brought in because that's what people want and they want to try it at our store first.
I didn't get to any of these questions that co-owners, man and woman owning a business.
I did have about working as a couple. I did want to give some advice to people,
Sure.
to other couples out there. Never keep score.
Yes.
So if
Oh,
somebody were
that's
to
a
ask,
good
like, what advice would we give to other couples in business together? Don't keep score. Well, I'm doing all this, or she's doing all that, or she's not doing as much as me. Like, I think that's really helped Katy and I the most over the years is like really not doing that to each other, just supporting each other. We have different strengths, but never get in that game of like, well, I'm just going to keep score on this and harbor some resentment. So
Yeah.
don't do that.
Reese is going to tell me I have a minute, so you probably have a minute to answer this question. I think you really already have, but I'm going to let you wrap it back up. What makes the Dream Team different?
It all centers around those values. So we call it the Thanksgiving dinner test. So we recruit based on the core values. We share those with the candidate up front. We ask them how they align with it, and if they resonate with it. And if it's not a good fit, then it's not a good fit. But then we always ask our team, like, would you want to invite this person over for Thanksgiving dinner? And that it's so much fun to get our team together because they absolutely love being together. And that makes work not work. It makes it fun and enjoyable, and like they feed off each other's energy. It's kind of like a good family gathering every time we get the team together. And the customers feel that, the community feels that, and we love that.
Well, Greg and Katy, I love that faith and family and fun play such a large role in your business. If it's Wednesday afternoon, we're talking about our towns on Town Talk on WSIC. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Bill.
Great job, Bill. Thanks.
Serving you better than ever before. WSIC, Statesville, W290DK Mooresville, W260